Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So look, this isn't me talking out my backside, man. Finally. We already knew the fight was going to happen. It's supposed to be happening in October. Well, the word is now is that Terence Crawford, boy, this man really stayed true to himself. And he just wasn't going to budge on that 50-50 split. The venue wasn't an issue. Pay-per-view, I mean, he just wanted everything 50-50, man. And I already told you, I don't think 50-50 is fair, but Errol Spence just got tired. And I think with Crawford, honestly, well, anyway, before I get into all that, anyway, the latest and greatest is Errol Spence is giving in to the 50-50 split with Terence Crawford. He's tired. He does feel like Terence Crawford being greedy, but Errol Spence really wants to fight. Stephen Espinoza came out, talked a little bit about it, says, it looks like, they've gotten over the huge obstacles. Everything is just semantics now, and it looks like it's going to be more of a kind of an even playing field, 50-50 split, fight taking place in November. Early November. Now, that is music to my ears, okay? Because now we know the fight's going to happen. But what's concerning to me is this 50-50 split. Man, let me tell you, right? I said it in another video. I'm going to say it again. If they're doing a 50-50 split now, okay, Errol has 3 belts, right? To me, Errol brings more to the table. Even on the pay-per-view sales and everything, it doesn't matter if don't worry about the live gate, the fact that he was doing that in Texas, right? The pay-per-view sales and stuff like that. He has 3 belts. Okay, Errol brings more to the table than Crawford, in my opinion. But if they do a 50-50 split and there's a rematch clause and say Errol loses, Terence Crawford becomes undisputed, and they go into a rematch now, unless they sort all that out and make the rematch a 50-50 split as well. But if not, then Errol Spence, after 2 fights, ends up making less money when you total up the fight purse for the first and second fight, less money than Terence Crawford, and Errol Spence entered the first fight with more bargaining chips. I just think that is a foul. To me, Errol Spence should get the lion's share of the goddamn fight purse. To me, it should be, 70-30, but 55-45, okay? And then the next fight, the rematch, 50-50 split. That way, after the first 2 fights, Errol Spence still ends up with more money because he has the A side. But it is what it is. But greed, okay? We're talking about greed, all right? I think Terence Crawford sees himself really as the greatest fighter in boxing right now. And he is a little delusional as far as what his market value is. But at the same time, he knows how important earning an undisputed distinction is to Errol Spence. Terence Crawford has gone on record. He may have been frustrated with negotiations, and maybe this is why he said this, but he said he doesn't care about being undisputed at 147 because he's already been undisputed at 140. He knows what it feels like to be undisputed, been there, done that, checked the box. Errol Spence is the one who's really adamant about becoming undisputed at 147. So Terence Crawford didn't care if the fight gets made or not. He'll go up to 154. He doesn't have Bob Arum anymore, and he feels wherever he goes, he's going to make the kind of money that he feels he deserves. Now, if that's true, then, well played, Terence Crawford, because Errol Spence obviously gave in. And I think Errol Spence is a guy who's like it's almost like with Floyd Mayweather when he was fighting De La Hoya. He wanted to be the A side. Whatever he wants, give it to him. I just want my opportunity. And I think the same thing happening with Errol Spence. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of the BS. Whatever he wants, let's just give it to him. He wants everything 50-50 split, pay-per-view buys, pay-per-view revenue, the fight purse, our guarantees. It's everything 50-50. We don't want any complaints. So when I get in there and dog him out, can't say that, you know, his mind was on something else or there were distractions because of the negotiations. No, everything is what he wants. He's comfortable, and I'm gonna get in there and clip him. Now, I still think Crawford has the edge going into this fight, but I still think they're both number ones. I don't see a 1 and 2. I see 2 number ones, but I do see an A side. To me, Spence is the A side. I think they're both number ones, but I think Crawford wins the fight. Okay, so I know it seems a little crazy, right? But, you know, my thing is what happened that was so bad to Terence Crawford over there at Top Rank that he'll come out here and almost lose out. And there's still a chance to lose out on that opportunity of what's being presented to him to make the most money he'll probably make for any fight in his career. It's definitely up to thus far. But if he doesn't get this, if for some reason the fight between him and Errol Spence for the undisputed distinction falls apart, Terence Crawford may never, ever end up in position to make the kind of money he's going to make in this fight. He probably never will. Outside of Errol Spence and this undisputed distinction, right? He goes up to 154. Who's he going to fight to make real money? Terence Crawford can't go to 154 asking for no damn $8 million. Nobody wants to pay him that money. You know, so maybe this is just an opportunity for him to cash out, man. I don't know. I like that Terence Crawford. I like Errol Spence. I'm just looking at it and trying to be real here. Who the hell is Terence Crawford going to go fight? If he's not a damn draw, like they say, we all know he's probably the best fighter. I think he beats a lot of. I think Terence Crawford is the man. The guy can fight, man. He's very smart in the ring. But who's he gonna go fight and make $5, $6, $7 million? I mean, nobody giving him that money anymore. He's got to get in fights with guys who bring something to the table, and he's got to make sure he doesn't come now and lose the deals with stubbornness and being delusional. I think very highly of myself, man, but you know you can't be delusional. You know, since I retired, man, almost 4 years now, I just decided to stay home and have 4 boys and make sure my little one will be 5 this year and raise that one, you know. And I was home for the other ones, but I was working too. But then I said, nah, not with this little guy. So I raised that little joker, man. And let me tell you, when I get ready to return out here, whether I'm going to work or start, you know, bidding on contract for my LLC, I already did that, and start doing something, I'm not going to sit here and say, if an opportunity presents itself and figure, you know, I should be making X amount of dollars because, you know, I feel that this is what I bring to the table. Man, I understand that I have a good opportunity in front of me. I'm not going to blow it because of my stubbornness and feeling, well, no, I should be making X amount of dollars instead of something that's within the ballpark of what I think I should get. But it may not be that exact number. You know, I get it. You know what I mean? Now, if I go get certifications and stuff like that, you know, more on top of what I have, that's a little bit different. And it's kind of like with these guys. You know, Errol Spence has the certifications, man. He's got everything. And Crawford just doesn't, man. You know, so I'm just frustrated just looking at this because, you know, I don't know if they're spinning it like Crawford's greedy or, you know, I'm just trying to, does he really deserve 50-50? And that's kind of the argument here. Does he really deserve a 50-50 split? And if he gets that, will Errol Spence be pissed off going into the fight? Because it's almost like, it's like I say, man, you know, he's thirsty for that undisputed distinction. Like, so as a result, he's got to drink water from somebody who, if he probably would prefer not to. And I always say it's because he's thirsty. I mean, drink water from everybody, but he's out here drinking water from Terence Crawford, man. And I don't think that water is what he needs in his system. But it is what it is because he's dying of thirst to get those belts, all those belts over there in DeSoto, Texas, or wherever the hell he's from in Dallas, and to be the undisputed. But I guess we'll see what happens, man. But outside of that, for these two, I think once they win, Whoever wins, they may have a rematch. Then after that, I think whoever has it going to drop the belts and move to 154 because they're both killing themselves to get down to 147 pounds. That's just not a natural weight for these guys, man. But I guess we'll see. So it's supposed to be happening in November in Las Vegas. It's supposed to be a 50-50 split of everything down the board. And my understanding is Terence Crawford is happy now. Errol Spence is more or less one of them situations where he's like, whatever. Like, whatever it takes to get this fight across the line. And, you know, I feel how I feel, man. But I'd be very interested to find out what that contract says about a rematch and what it says if there's going to be a third fight and how the fight purses are going to be split in the rematch and then the third fight. Because I still feel, I already said in this video, man, it sounds like a broken record. If Errol Spence in the first fight, if they're both getting 50-50, and to me, Errol Spence brings more to the table. 3 belts to 1. Forget what Crawford did. And they go into the second fight, and the winner of that first fight going to the second fight is the A side, and they get like some 60-40 split. I think that's foul if Crawford beats Spence, because now Spence, after 2 fights, gets less money. And he entered this having 3 belts. I just think that's wrong. And I'm sure they've talked about that. You know, I'm not smarter than those guys that Errol Spence has on his team. I'm just a common sense man. It's gotta make sense. And I just don't see how they can be okay with that. But I'd be very interested to kind of get a little peek behind those tent flaps to understand what was negotiated for that first, second, and possibly third fight. I would be very interested in finding that out. But that being said, that's the latest and greatest. Steven Espinoza. You know, man, he wants to talk so bad. You can see it. He wants to talk so bad that he just gives out a little bit, but he doesn't say too much. Errol Spence wants to talk so bad. It's like, you know, you could, if a fight's not going to happen, their energy would be different. They wouldn't be saying anything, but when they start talking and kind of tiptoeing around it or give you just enough to let you know like it's going to happen without telling you it's going to happen, you know something's up. But for them to come out now and talk about that 50-50 split and in November now in Vegas, that lets you know it's just a matter of time before the announcement comes. And I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to say it again. I think they're going to make that announcement when the Jamal Charlo fight. When he fights that night, I think that's when they're going to make the announcement. I've been saying that. I think that's what they're waiting for. And I think that's the time they're going to make the announcement. I could be wrong, but that's just what I think. But that being said, man, y'all take care, keep cool, fights on. I mean, we got to start calling Terence Crawford Apollo Greed, right? That's what he's becoming, man. But anyway, man, shout out to the veterans. Y'all keep safe, and I'm in the breeze.